Telling you, the best ex you will ever have in your life is with a ninja or a bitch. You know, depending on what I'm feeling like that day. That ain't got two pennies to rub together.
I don't hear nobody out there. Hold it down.
Hurry up and try and do this video while these two asleep. They've been fighting. You hear me? Not fighting, but Lou don't want no parts of the baby. Please let this change. I'm worn out. So at this point, I'm just trying to keep them two separated. If Lou wants to be bothered, then I'll allow him to be bothered. The baby, on the other hand, wants to do everything that Lou does. Everything. While they're both taking a nap, let me try and get this done. All right, so we doing the hip-hop Helen of Troy. From Jay-Z to Nas. From, what is this? From Seduction to Scandal. Miss Carmen Bryant. Linda didn't mind the visits as long as it didn't interfere with my work, and it never did. I was convinced I had the coolest boss in the world. Soon after I settled in at home and work, Nas and I went on our first official date. And guess what it was? Malcolm X. That speaks volumes. We saw Malcolm X starring Denzel Washington in a scary good performance as the man himself, and Angela Bassett as his wife. Man, Angela Bassett been that girl for a long time. As we watched the movie, I could feel Nas staring at me, but when I glanced back at him, he'd quickly turn his head. After the movie, we decided to go back to my house and grabbed a cab. Back then, if your boyfriend didn't have a car, which was rare, you know, you would get around in cabs because the dude didn't want to put his girl on the bus. Like, okay, I don't have no car, but let's catch a cab to the movies. You believe in love at first sight, I asked. Why? You in love with me? He teased. No, but there's something about you that I love already. He smiled. I feel the same way you do. I had a sudden urge to take care of him. I wanted him to be my partner. When we arrived home, Nas and I popped a bottle of Alizé and got cozy on the couch while we smoked a blunt. Now what did you do today? I asked. Nothing much. I just hung out in the projects and chilled at my mom's crib. Nothing much. The funny thing about Nas was he seemed like he was never in the studio. Now that I worked in the industry, I knew a record deal didn't necessarily mean anything. It certainly didn't guarantee success. You needed a hit. Although Nas wasn't focused, it was so refreshing to be with someone who at least had plans beyond that. It inspired me to tell him about my own plans. From that night on, Nas and I spent every free moment together. Of course, money was scarce. His advance from the Columbia deal was long gone by the time we met. When you're newly in love, though, your form of recreation is irrelevant. So we happily did a lot of free stuff. Leisurely walks in the park, picnics, endless hours browsing bookstores and the movies. When me and my wife met, remember, for all of you people who think I'm a gold digger because my wife makes significantly more money than me, when I met my wife, I made more money than her. And it was okay for her to take me to the Cheesecake Factory. But I was not too good for the Cheesecake Factory like these dumb bitches. Nah, you bitches is dumb.
Woo. Let me just get the door for you.
Okay. He got me at the Cheesecake Factory, y'all. I ain't getting out this car. Yes.
Would you want me to open the door for you?
Look.
Are you? You're recording me?
Yeah. This is the Cheesecake Factory. This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all.
What's the problem with that?
This is a chain restaurant. Who takes someone that looks like this to a chain restaurant?
You want to talk about it? I'm fine with talking about it, even in front of them.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Come on, get up on in the car. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Oh, okay.
Okay. So
yes, let's talk about it. About it.
So you expect a man to go all out on the first date? Is that right?
I mean, you're supposed to. When you take out a beautiful woman and you're courting her, because I get courted. So you're courting her, right? You're supposed to take care of her. You're supposed to cover her. You're supposed to protect her, cherish her, treat her well, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I agree. I went into this date as I expect, with the expectations for myself to keep you safe, you know, to respect you, to pay for your food, of course, pick you up, of course, and just treat you like a gentleman, which I believe I have done.
I mean, you've been pretty nice, but I mean,
and then
Cheesecake Factory.
As our intellectual and spiritual connection strengthened, so did our physical attraction. Nas was avidly affectionate. Most Virgos are. He would stroke my cheek and softly kiss my neck until I was ready to surrender to anything. That's when I'd suddenly find his hand down my shirt. I'd allow him a quick feel here and there, but always shut him down before things got too heavy. It was only a matter of time until the inevitable, I realized. But I wanted to prolong the sweet torture of foreplay. A couple of weeks later, Van and Paulie moved to an apartment in the building across the street. They were building a studio and needed the extra space. The privacy was just what Nas and I needed. Our first night alone, I cooked dinner and we smoked. Nas looked very comfortable and relaxed as he slouched beside me on the couch. He wore his stoned face, chinky, slanted eyes, and relaxed jaw. Turned out he wasn't as tranquil as he looked. When he began to kiss, he tried to get slick and unfasten my bra. I went with it this time. My bra came off and all my clothes followed right behind. Before I knew it, Nas and I were completely naked. His manhood stood. His size was average, but that didn't diminish my desire to jump on him. Average. Ladies in the comment, what does average mean? Because my average, I like average. You know, average is good. Like, I like average. Okay? One time, my wife brought something home and I was like, what is that? Who are you using that on? What is that? Why did you buy that? That's not what I don't like that. We stared at each other for a long moment. It felt like everything in our lives had led up to this point. When I would bend over to kiss him, his lips so inviting, wet and juicy, and those lips would later work miracles on hidden parts of my body. Not surprised when I tell you them Virgos got a top piece that is top tier. He nudged my body down inch by inch, slowly, until I sat perfectly on top of him. As soon as I was centered, Nas immediately started thrusting. I told him to be still, then took my time. After a few minutes, Nas picked me up and carried me into the bedroom. Our gentle lovemaking turned into pure, hot, passionate X. I'm telling you, the best X you will ever have in your life is with a ninja or bitch Depending on what I'm feeling like that day, that ain't got 2 pennies to rub together. Afterward, we lay in each other's arms, naked and silent. A few minutes later, Nas proposed. Carm, let's get married. I was shocked. Really? You want to get married? Yeah. Them people, let me tell you something about Virgos. I love giving y'all the business because y'all are nuts. Y'all are brilliant geniuses, but you're nuts. You all take every move off of emotion. In that moment, Nas was in love because he was of making. So his mouth followed his emotions. That's why sometimes when them Virgos talk, you want to smack them in the mouth. Their mouth reflects their emotion. I said, Virgos are geniuses, but they're not emotionally mature. When they say these things out of their mouth that are hurtful and painful to someone, at the time they're not thinking about how it's going to damage or manifest into the relationship later on. They're not thinking about that. They're thinking about getting out their emotions right now because that's all that matters right now. So for those of us who are emotionally mature, we know that we cannot speak our emotions because sometimes those words hurt worse than an actual punch. But them daggone Virgos, they'll say anything, girl. Okay, I know I asked you to marry me on Monday, but today, bitch, get out. I was shocked. Really? You want to get married? Yeah. I mean, my moms and my pops got married after only knowing each other for 6 months. We talked all night about our future wedding and eventually fell off to sleep. I ain't listening to no ninja tell me about no wedding unless I get a goddamn ring. Ladies, pay attention. If there wasn't a ring, I just couldn't take it serious, because I need to see that you're willing to invest in me more than your words. And I know you like, Nay, everybody can't afford a ring. Let me tell you something. You could buy a ring for $100. And my thing is, if you can't afford to buy a ring, $100 ring, then baby, you can't afford to get married. I've had several rings. Not all my rings were expensive. I've had rings that were $500. I've had rings that were $5,000. I've had rings that were $100. And my wife definitely couldn't afford to give me no $5,000 ring when we first met. So it's just I need to see that you're able to make an investment in me, because I'm surely going to make an investment in you if I hadn't already. Oh, Lord. We were having the time of our lives and couldn't get enough of each other. It had been 2 months and I couldn't have been happier with Nas. He was everything I desired in a man and a partner. He was thoughtful, kind, and considerate of my every need. I could feel that this relationship was going to be long-term. Things couldn't have been going better. Then something completely unexpected threw me for a loop. The mirror confirmed that I looked as bad as I felt. Nas and I had just started dating. There was no way we could have a baby this early in the relationship. Now, at this point, I would have said, I'm not finna have no aspiring rappers, baby. If I'm not having a drug dealer, baby, then I'm not having no aspiring rappers, baby. I'm not doing it. Call me back. So, okay, you about to get the game. You're welcome. Okay? What you don't want is an aspiring rapper, because 9 times out of 10, they're not going to make it. You're not going to get to Jay-Z. They already got Jay-Z. You're not going to get to Drake. Drake already out there, and if you ask me, I think his money is a little shaky right now. Nas and I just started dating. There was no way we could have a baby this early in the relationship, but my conscience recoiled at the prospect of having an abortion. Later that evening, I broke the news to Nas. He was apprehensive and uncertain, but never said a word to articulate his feelings. He didn't need to. Neither of us was ready to have a baby. What if y'all know y'all doing the booty and ain't nobody pulling out? It's gonna happen. Girl, just because somebody give you their eggplant juice don't mean that they love you, girl. Sometimes you got men out here that's so devilish that they will purposefully give you the eggplant juice and the wrong number. Nas and I became even closer very quickly. So I wasn't too surprised when soon after the procedure, Nas showed up at my door one evening with a large duffel bag. I needed to get out of the projects for a while. Is it all right if I stay with you for about a week, he asked. Even though he hadn't yet finished his album, he explained. Some people in the neighborhood were already jealous.